Some photo shoots are done quickly and easily using your TTL exposure system. Others are best done by using auto exposure mode instead. The Qflash gives you fast access to both of these modes and a few extra features not found in any other flash. Let me show you.
Lesson 2. Getting started with Qflash, TTL, and auto modes.
Let's start off with the most popular way to use a Qflash these days. That's with TTL. As soon as you connect your camera to the Qflash and set the Qflash to its QTTL mode, you'll see that the camera and the flash are now talking to each other once you tap the shutter. When you change the ISO, for instance, on your camera, the ISO indicator on the back of the Qflash control panel also changes. This is called full dedication, and it means that all the TTL info from your camera is used by the Qflash to produce great exposures under most conditions. Just as good, and actually even better in my opinion, than most camera manufacturers' flash do.
TTL.
TTL stands for through the lens, and that's where the exposure info comes from in QTTL mode, right through your camera lens. We can use a Qflash in QTTL mode when it's connected to your camera by using the Quantum D-adapter cable to the hot shoe, or we can clip on a wireless receiver, either the FreeX wire or the QNexus, right onto the side of the Qflash and send TTL info without cables. If you discover that your camera's TTL system occasionally tends to overexpose or underexpose your TTL photos, you can adjust the level of light that the Qflash will produce in QTTL mode by simply moving the fill dial here on the top of the D adapter. Turn the dial to the left or the minus side to reduce the amount of flash, and turn it to the right or the plus side to increase the amount of flash. In QTTL mode, this dial works just like the flash exposure compensation feature inside your camera. And actually it will show up on some camera bodies as that flash exposure comp. By the way, I do recommend using only the Qflash D adapter for compensating your flash, not the menu settings inside your camera bodies. Might get you into a little bit of trouble. Most photographers discover that some cameras have better TTL systems in them than other ones do. And even though the TTL circuitry in your camera is probably pretty good, it's far from perfect. So on shoots where TTL is not the right choice for you or your camera system, we can use the auto exposure mode in the Qflash instead.
Auto and autofill mode.
This mode is where the Qflash decides how much light is needed for a proper exposure by using its own sensor, not the one found through the lens of your camera. It has a smart exposure sensor right here that measures the light that bounces back from your scene and quickly corrects the exposure for you. To use it, simply press the mode button and tap the up or down arrows until you get to the auto mode. And check to be sure that the fill dial on your D adapter is set to the default 0 position. And you still need to connect your Qflash to your camera with a cable, a D adapter, or wirelessly with the triggering system like the Quantum FreeX wire in order to tell the Qflash when to fire. Some photographers make their entire living by shooting in auto Qflash mode instead of QTTL for everything they do, and they find they like it better than TTL. Personally, I use both, and I think they both work really well. This smart auto sensor on the Qflash also provides a great feature for shooting fill flash that blends the ambient light with the flash and works with your camera settings, kind of like TTL does, but it uses the auto sensor on the Qflash to make the exposure decisions. If you connect your camera using the typical D adapter to the Qflash, you can quickly adjust the ratio of available light set by your camera and the flash that's set by the auto exposure mode on the Qflash. Let me show you an example. Say we want to blend this ambient light here with this strobe light here. With the Qflash in auto mode and the D adapter fill dial set to 0, the Qflash will provide just enough light to bring your subject up to the best exposure possible based on your camera settings. But what if you prefer a blend that's got a little more flash, but still proper exposure, of course? Then simply adjust the fill dial on the top of the D adapter to boost the flash up from 1 stop to 2 stops more than the ambient, or anywhere in between in 1/3 stop increments if you like. Or what if you like only a little bit of flash blended in with your available light? Then move the fill dial down to the -1 or -2 or even -3 stop positions to keep the flash 1 stop or 2 stops or even 3 stops less than the available ambient light. This is a terrific way to solve those frustrating outdoor fill flash shots by using the technology and the giant size flash power that's not found in any shoe-mounted flash. This is where the Qflash really shines.